Hello everybody, just having a quick slurp of my tea. How are you all? Hope you are all well. Whether you're with me live or whether you are joining me a little bit later on YouTube or Facebook, do give me a thumbs up and do pop me a note in the comments so I know you were present. Hello Francis, thank you for joining and being first in the house. Hello Carol, how are you all and what have you been up to? Have you been beading? Have you been enjoying the sunshine? Now today's going to be a beadalong or whatever you want it to be. You might be sat there with your cup of tea. If you are, let me know. And have you got your lunch? Maybe having a cup of tea and your lunch, let me know. Or maybe you've got a project. Hello, Linda. Hope you are well. Now, I thought we would do sort of a spot of kind of macrame. It's kind of going to develop as we go. I've got some ideas. Hello, Jan. Morning to you. She says, I've got tea. Me too. Well, I did have. Hello, Francis. She says, hello, everyone. Right. Now, I've been rummaging in my stocks and I have not found, because I knew they were there, but I thought it was about time that I actually put them up online. So I've got these connectors that have got two holes, one either side, and something in the middle that you could pop a bead into. And I thought we could also use those connectors. We have also got some of these that we're going to use as well. I've got them all in the Facebook group. So that's what we're going to have a bash at. Linda says she's just made a coffee. Olivia eating sausage and mash and broccoli. Apparently she needed it now, not tonight. Oh, bless her. And how do you have your coffee, Linda? Black coffee, milky coffee? I'm not a great lover of coffee. I'm a bit of a weakling, really. I like a milky coffee and I can never have more than one shot in my coffee. Francis is having a cuppa and just got in from town. It's kind of trying to brighten up, isn't it? So should we go on the overhead? Do let me know if you've got any ideas as we're going along. That's what it's all about. Let's share ideas. If you've tried something with some of these in the past that worked really well, any challenges you came across, do let me know. I have checked to make sure the thread fits in the beads I'm going to show you as well. Hello, Maxine. And Jan says, I'm hoping to be able to adapt what you do today to fit Jasper donut I have. Oh, good shout. I like that idea. Right, now I'm going to go on the overhead and I think that's my left hand. It should be right for you. Please do let me know. Linda says, cafe au lait from the machine. Just stick the pod in. Oh, nice. We have got one of those, but I don't actually use it. I should do, shouldn't I? Lynn uses it, my partner. He likes his cappuccino. Right, it's correct. Woohoo! Okay. Now, what should we start with first of all? Let's start with one of my favourites. Let's move that over, which is this. I do love this. It's got, let's just go in a bit closer. It's glass and it's got the most gorgeous, like almost like tulip designed, and it's beautiful red. Hands the right way round. Brilliant. Linda says she goes through at least 30 pods a week. Ooh, you enjoy then. Right, now I've put for the first time some pick and mix in the group thread so that you can actually choose what colours you want. Where's my scissors? This always happens to me. Oh, no, I've got it. Okay. So I'm going to do one for one side, one for the other. I would say that's probably about maybe 10 inches. Yes, they're in the group thread. They should be. I put them on timer. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop that 1mm nylon thread in the red through that loop. Now I'm going to cut this off afterwards. I'm going to utilise that and do an overhand knot. But before I do that, let's get my pin at the ready. So I'm forming a loop, drop that through the loop, and then we are going to pop our needle through that knot. So we're going to secure that in place like so. And this little bit here, we're going to trim that off and we're going to just singe it with the lighter. But they're really, really good prices. They're in the flash sale, these are. And I found another box, so I've actually got more. Oh, that's so true. Linda says that it reminds her of the opening of a tin of corned beef. Yes, doesn't it just? And Jan says it almost looks Japanese. It does, doesn't it? I'm going to do the same the other side. Does looks like sort of a Japanese flowers from a Japanese garden. You could always knot it from the other side if you want to, making it more difficult for myself. The reason why I've got a longer end or shorter, the short tail, you need it to be a little bit longer so that you can get your loop going. That was difficult to say and explain. I don't know why, but it was. So there's our loop. Pull that tight. And this is the great thing about using the needles is if it doesn't go in the right place, you've still got opportunity to undo it. Trim that off. Now I've also put in the group thread some 3x4mm crystal rondelles. And they happen to fit onto the thread. What we're going to do is have a look at, or a refresher for a lot of you, is how we make a needle. Now, if you are watching from YouTube or you're new, please don't be frightened. Do say hello. We're a very, very warm and friendly group, and we love to welcome new folk. Even if you're not a jewellery maker and you're just curious, join us, say hello. Right, now I should have told you what I was doing. 0.3 or 0.25mm wire, just cut a length, bring both the ends together, keep a loop and twist. Simple as that. And there we go, I'm going to pop that on there. Now, I am using up bits and pieces that I've had from previous demonstrations left, but all the good news is all of these are in the group thread, and in addition to that, they're only £1 in the flash sale. Now this did fit earlier. I'm just going to grab my pliers so I can pull it through. It might just be that some fit and others don't. Oops. Well, I know this one fit because I tried it. There we go. In fact, I tried them all, so they should fit. You can also keep it plain if you want to. I think it just adds a nice bit of detail. Oh yes, it does fit. There we go. So I'm just using different coloured reds. So rather than waste another strand, I'll use what I've got. I've just got to remember to put these aside for the other side as well. Just do that as I go. 1, 2, 3. Now, what are you all working on jewellery-wise, craft-wise at the moment? Have you got any projects you're thinking about? Now, just to let you know that I am on Jewellery Maker tomorrow. If you've seen my little video, I'm quite excited because it's actually the first ever launch of one of the kits that I've had an input in designing with our lovely buyer Claire from the start to finish, because they all get planned at least 3 months in advance, and I've been at Jewellery Maker for 3 months. Obviously it takes a while for our designs to filter through. So Claire is really lovely. So we spend time with our buyer. There's a couple of buyers, very talented, very experienced. Claire is new to Jewellery Maker, but not a new buyer. She's been in the industry for years, and you can really tell. So one of my passions, as a lot of you know, is bead embroidery. The other passion I have is I love labradorite. Now, so she has managed to source, oh my goodness, it's so beautiful, carved labradorite. Now the labradorite is, we've got a carved Buddha, so there's 2 different kits. There's one with a Buddha and there's one with a Ganesh. Now a Ganesh is actually a symbol of a Hindu god, but it's also, the elephant is also a symbol to many people of sort of wealth and prosperity and new beginnings. We all know the Buddha, don't we, as well? So I am super excited. So, you know, if you're able to join, so that will be, I'm on for the full 5 hours from 8 to 1. But the masterclass is actually from 12 o'clock. So if you are able to join, and if you maybe you're able to send some messages in as well. What I was going to say was, I know a lot of you have bought from Jewellery Maker. 1, 2, 3. And do not forget, if you have bought from Jewellery Maker, do make sure that you send your makes in. Picture of your makes to studio@jewellerymaker.com, I think it is, because you could be in for a chance to win £100 or £50 for the runner-up, which is amazing. I wish I'd have done it years ago, but I never did. They need to be Jewellery Maker products. I think you can put a sprinkle of your own things in there. Not you know, we're not promoting my business on there, if that makes sense. You know, it has to be jewellery makers, the whole idea. But I just wanted to put it out there because I know some of you have been buying from there, and thank you for that. And it'd be so nice to see some of your makes up there. Right, okay. I think we'll go with that for now. Let me see if I've got enough. So Linda says, can't wait for tomorrow. Thank you, Linda. Jan, with all this sunshine, I'm making sun catchers, all beads and sea glasses I have. Looks fab in the sun. Oh, how lovely, because you went sea glass hunting the other day, didn't you? Whilst watching, I'm cutting up t-shirts for a crochet rug. How fab. Do make sure you share it. They sound wonderful, says Maxine. They are. Jan says, love the Buddha image. I know, gorgeous. They were talking about them this morning, so how lovely they are. Isn't that lovely? I was watching it this morning. Diane is a friend of mine. She's the new guest designer on Jewellery Maker, and she is absolutely lovely. We met at, we were helping, both of us were helping out at Mark's workshop, and we just, you know, we just had exactly the same sense of humour, and we did say they probably wouldn't put us both on together because I think we'd be a bit of a nightmare, to be honest. So she's such a lovely addition to the team, and many of you may have seen some of her makes as well. So she did a lot of the calendar makes for the Jewellery Maker calendar. Very talented lady, not only in jewellery making, but she's an artist as well. An artist and an upholsterer, a lady of many talents. So yeah, it was lovely to see her on there today. It was a nice little show, wasn't it, Linda? These seem to be going on a bit easier than the other side, says she. I bet it'll all go a bit pear-shaped now. Hello, Sue. No problem. Obviously, you put on as few or as many beads as you like. It was lovely, wasn't it? I must admit, I do watch quite a lot. I watch while I'm beading and sorting and working, and I did treat myself today when I was on Jewellery Maker 2 weeks ago. Carol and I were launching some Merkabas, and I just absolutely loved them. So I've ordered myself one of the Merkaba bracelets that I'm going to break up and put into some jewellery. Right, let's have a look. Oh, right, let's just turn that over. That's quite pretty, isn't it? It's very delicate. Where are we? I need to put my other screen on so I can see it the right way round. Okay, there's no reason why you couldn't actually add a second row in there if you want to. Right, they don't quite marry up, so I need another red one on there. I'm intrigued as well. Could I ask you all, now I need to start building up my stock, and also putting stock on my website as well, because I seem to be getting more and more website orders, which is good. But what I was going to ask you is, is there or are there products that you buy regularly that you'd like to see? So, for example, tiger tail or findings or certain beads, certain seed beads. Are there certain types of stock that you come back to regularly? Maybe beading foundation that you'd like to multi-buy, or stock that you'd like me to bring that you can have easy access to order for me to have. Maybe I don't stock it already. If you could give me some feedback on that, that'd be really good. Oh, Tela beads. I can do that. Tela beads. What sort of things do you use them for, Linda? Do you sort of use them in like bracelet projects or necklace projects? Right, so I'm just popping a knot on the end of both of those, like so. Now you can do one of two things for this. I'm going to show you the quick version. Now the quick version that's really pretty, isn't it? Is that we cross over the threads at the back like this. We grab another little bit of thread. I could probably have done with it in a different colour. In fact, do you know what? I'm going to do it in a different colour so you can see what I'm doing. You don't really need one as long as this, but you're going to have short tail and a long tail and lie it on top of these. Then pinch them like that. Got a loop, so you've got a short tail, your long tail. Your long tail, you're going to go underneath. This is quite fiddly, I'm not going to lie. And you're going to bring it away from the tail, but back over those threads. So we're going to hold it nice and tight, keep that loop going or open on the left. You can make it as wide as you want to. As you can see, it just takes a little while. There we go. And then we're going to push the long tail through the loop. Just pinch the end. We're going to pull that. There we go. And then you're going to rock and roll between both sides so that the knots go inside, but you've still got enough space for it to be adjustable. And what we'll do is we'll trim that off. It's what we call a whipping knot. Just make sure you don't singe the wrong tail. Turn that round, do the other one. Leave about 1 mil, 2 mil, because otherwise you won't have enough room to actually singe it. All right, now we've still got our little handmade needles on the end. So let's find some little beads to pop on the end. What you have to be careful of is sometimes if the bead holes are a bit tight, you can end up severing your thread with the needle. So you want to actually make sure that you've cut them long enough, or not. Yeah, long enough so that you've got enough to sort of pull and reach over your wrist size. There we go. So, but you don't want them too long either, do you? Just made a little knot on there. We just blitz the end of that. And then we'll try and make that the same length if we can. The other thing you could do with this is you could always knot in between beads. That would be quite nice. And you could make a necklace with this. The only thing I would say is if you're going to make a necklace with this, it would have to be, you'd either have to have it as a choker or you'd have to join it with two coming out of one and maybe a dangle on the bottom. I hope that makes sense, because otherwise if you have it like that on a necklace, it's unlikely that it's going to sit that well. It might do, but you'd have to try it. It's like anything, just experiment. Right, so that's our first little make today. So we've got a connector, which is basically either a bead or some metal with two holes at the side. So we have done double at the start and then cut it down to one. We've made a big eye needle and we've added on beads, tied a knot either end to keep them stable. We've overlapped both the ends and we've made a whipping knot. So the whipping knot will allow you to adjust your bracelet. So here we go. And there we go. So that's our first make. Now I'm just going to have a quick look through all of your messages. So Linda says, looking at stocking Tila beads. Thank you. Sue says, very pretty. I am so pleased you like it. Jan says, always finding spacer beads, cords and different thicknesses. Any particular types of cords and thicknesses, Jan? And spacer beads, are you talking silver plated or sterling? What do you prefer? So Linda likes to use Tila beads for using in St. Petersburg necklaces. Fantastic. Jan says a few colours of Charlotte beads, the tiny ones. Those are like the sew-on that we can use in bead embroidery, aren't they? I think. Nice to see a different sliding knot. Yeah, and it's quick. Once you've mastered it, it's quick. Francis said, just had to Google that. They are gorgeous. Would love to try this. Do you mean the Tila beads, Francis? Katrina, hello. Hello to Rachel and other beaders. This is very pretty. I'm glad you like. All of these bits you can buy from the group thread. I'm going to have to Google it too. Hello to you too. Welcome. Different coloured Delica beads. Yeah, good shout. Oh, Jan's orders just popped through the door. Thank you, Maxine. Very pretty. Glad you like. I've got some of those connectors, so thank you, Rachel, for the demo. And Jan says silver plated beads. So for anybody just joining, I was just asking if there's anything on my website that you would like repeats of, that you buy regularly. So there we go. That's that one. Yes, so Francis means looking up the St. Petersburg necklace. It's gorgeous. Charlotte beads are what I use when encasing a cab to finish a peyote stitch. Oh, nice. Right, okay, let me just have a quick tidy up and we shall have a bash at something else. So you can do the same with, right, I need to go to another screen so I can see what I'm doing. Like this one, you've got the butterfly or rhinestone, and one of my favourites is the tree of life, and then we've got heart connectors. So these are all sold in bundles. Okay, now what was I going to use for these? Oh yes, that's right, I was going to try something a wee bit different. Quite like that colour combo. This is something that is also in the flash sale. Now this one has got a slight little bit of uneven edge, so I took the one out the lot, so you've all got perfect ones, and I haven't, but I don't mind that. Now I am going to use, in these bundles you have got some electroplated flowers. So I thought, well, how could we use that in the design? Because they're really super pretty. I said we could use something in the middle, but I'm really not quite sure how we would do that unless you actually wire wrap over the sides. So I'm going to leave that with you for someone to maybe come up with a nice little design on that one. So these are the 5x6 teal sea green rondelles. Purple and green are nice colours on the wheel, on the colour wheel. Let's pop that there. Now, I think we'll use grey this time. And I do find my big eye needles don't last that long. I'm not going to lie, I just make them. It's just easier to make them new every time. That's the delight about making your own, is it doesn't matter because you only use up a very small amount of wire. So ends together, twist, 0.25 or 0.3 mil wire. Pop that through the hole. And we're going to bring that through the hole. These are also nice as well. So if you're buying a bundle that's in the group, they're also really nice to link up with jump rings. So you could maybe have a bracelet or a necklace with them spaced out, like we did before. Wonder if, now I'm going to try something. I don't know whether or not both the holes, both ends will go through the holes of the flower. I'm not sure. We'll try it. Oh, I don't think so. Will they, won't they? Let's try it. So that's one. Not sure it's going to work, but we can give it a go. Now you could always singe the end of your thread if you want to stop it getting messy like mine. I can safely say that will not fit through twice, which is fine. So what we're going to do is an overhand knot at the end there, and more fingers than thumbs. Let's do it this way. So this time I'm going to bring through the ends, but as you can see, it's easier to work with more thread than less. So bring that through. Let's take that off for now. Pop that in your bead mat. And again, we'll trim that off. Singe. And let's rethread that. So Jan is just giving us a tip for threading. Absolutely, please share away. If you heat the end of the cord and pull the thread out, it makes a needle of a hard cord that's easier because it's single thickness. Yeah, sometimes though I find with the holes it doesn't quite work with all of them. It might do with some of the rondelles, but it doesn't with this one. I think it depends on the thickness of your beads, but it's a brilliant tip that will work. I think might work with the rondelles. We'll give it a go. Now I'm going to show you as well how you can knot with this. So if you want to knot in between beads, then just form a loop, pop the needle in your mat and pull like so. Okay, where are you? There you are. Yeah, so as Jan was saying, it works if you singe the end of your thread as well. That would go on, but as I've got my needle on already, I'm just going to stick with that. You need to pull it out a bit longer. It should work with the cord. You need to put it out a bit longer. Put it out a bit longer. Not quite sure what you mean, Jan. Perhaps you could explain. Do you mean heat it for a bit longer? So there we go. We've got another knot. And I quite like the knotted effect. It's nice, isn't it? The purple works well with that. The flower beads are lush, aren't they? I only had a small amount of the flower beads that I ordered. So I've sprinkled them in the bundles with these that I put up earlier on. You probably were looking at them and maybe thinking, what on earth am I going to do with those? And sometimes you just actually need to see it, don't you? You just need to see an idea. So let's do... So Jan's saying, pull the end out a bit long. Pull the end out a bit long. So heat it a bit longer, then pull it. Oh, okay. Good shout. So what Jan's saying is heat it for a bit longer and pull the thread out so that it comes to a point. Thank you for that. I think that, you know, that's what it's all about, is sharing those tips. And that'll work particularly well if you can't actually get a needle through your beads, but you can get the single thread through. Has anybody thought of the knotting before? These green beads, I think they're in the flash sale for £1. Now, the flash sale will be for a little bit longer because, fortunately for you, I have a really busy week. So it's just easier just to leave the flash sale there. It'll probably be there until Saturday, but do not delay beyond that because they won't be there at those prices for the flash deals. So normally we only have the flash deals for a day, but like I say, we've got our grandchildren on Friday and overnight. So tomorrow I'm in Jewellery Maker. Tomorrow we've got grandchildren staying overnight. So really the earliest opportunity I'm going to be able to get to sort of update and invoice everybody will be Saturday. Right, let's just take stock of that. Isn't that pretty? So let's do the other side. And a bit more grey thread. But the good thing is as well, is if you pick and mix with the threads, it's something like 130 or 140 for 5 meters, something absolutely ridiculously cheap. And these don't take up any more than a meter of thread. So if you want to not buy bundles and bundles of thread, but you've got different projects you want to work on with different colours, then take advantage of that and get different colours, because I think, you know, you've got lots of different things, like a brownie colour would work quite well with that as well. Practice on a bit you've just cut off. I will have a little practice in a while. I'll finish this off first. I've done knotting with pearls. It's pretty. Knotting's brilliant, and this nylon thread is so beautiful to work with. It's really neat, and you can make mala necklaces with these as well. Right, so we've got... Do we have any YouTube folk watching today? So we had, last time we had a couple of ladies watching from the States, didn't we? Which was really lovely. So if you are on YouTube, do pop us a comment. Let us know if you're watching. These are T-pins that I use in macrame, but you can just use an ordinary pin. I'm getting in a tangle here. So think about, you know, maybe you've got some connectors in your stash that you've wondered, what am I going to do with them? Perhaps you might go and have a look at your stash and think, what could you make? What I'll do, please remind me before the end, is I will pull up a reminder of our Beaders group. Now, unfortunately, it's not to the level of the draw of Jewellery Maker, but we do have a winner every month. So in our Beaders group, so we ask people to share their makes, and our lovely Frances, Kim and Linda run the group. Linda posts every day for us, says hello to everybody, which is a really lovely start to the day. And Kim gives us an update as to how many posts people have put up individually. And you get entered into the prize draw every time you share something. Katrina says, what material are those connectors? These connectors are walnut wood on this side and resin on the other. And they are just gorgeous. Right, so the question is, would you like to see the whipping knot again? Or would you like me to do a square knot macrame adjustable at the back? Let me know. So we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 2, 4, 6, 7, one more. Whipping knot again. I'm not going to lie, I'm so pleased you said that. I much prefer the whipping knot because it's so much quicker. So that's where we're at so far. Do you know what? That would be so beautiful on a necklace. So if you bought the bundle, which I think has got 5 or 6 of these, but bearing in mind one of them isn't a connector, one of them is a dangle, just a pendant, the rest have got 2 holes. If you were to use all 6 of these to buy a £1 strand and have it, I'd make it as an overhead necklace as well, using the same technique. I just love that. So we're going to go over, wrap those 2 over. Now I'm not going to do it in red this time because a red just isn't going to go. But it can be a bit difficult sometimes to figure out which is your whipping knot and which isn't. So we've got a length of thread. We're going to curve it round so you've got a long end and a short end. And we're going to lay that on top of those threads. So my loop is on the left, short tail and long tail on the right. So I'm pinching all of those threads together. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring that longer thread over the shorter one. So keeping the short tail in and also the tail of the back of the bracelet. And we are going to wrap it round. So you kind of all fingers and thumbs, because what you want to do is whip from right to left, and you want to whip over all of your threads. But the difficulty here is keeping a tension on there at the same time. Okay, so when you've done that, hold on to all of those, pop your tail of that whipping knot through the loop like so. Switch over hands, and then we are going to pull little tail, and then switch hands, going to pull the long tail, and then you're going to pull both. And it might need a little bit of gentle persuasion. The most difficult thing is actually figuring out which is your whipping knot and which is your adjustable bracelet. So I've still got the needles on mine, so I know which is which. So that's your little whipping knot. And what you want to make sure is that the ends of the knots go under the other. So cut the tail, and oh sorry, singe the end. Again, making sure you cut the right one. So I'd say keep on your needles until you've done this bit, so at least you know which is which. And tap on the end there. And then also the handy thing is in having those needles on the end is that you can put these beads on the end. So I'm going to put 2 on each end. Sorry, you had a knock at the front door and it's just really distracted me. I was thinking, is my partner going to go and get that? I have to confess, I don't know. So I'm going to tie a knot, and I'm going to do a double knot for this one just to make sure it doesn't fall through the bead. You could have another knot at the top if you want to, the top of the beads, but I'm just going to keep it sort of free flowing. Let's do the same the other side. Pull that tight. So like I say, what you could do as well is if you had the necklace like this, is you could always end it with a whipping knot, couldn't you? But just make sure you don't have these in the middle. I don't think they would hang properly. So you might want to use maybe that one to hang in the middle. So you've just got the one rather than a connector. But if you're really savvy, you could probably make a couple of necklaces out of them. Or buy 2 lots and make a longer necklace. Or earrings to match. Francis said, the knock on the front door isn't me at least. No, it's not. You're watching. Right, so there we go. Let's pop that on. And there we go. So you could always, if you're a bit savvy with your wire wrapping, you could pop some wires through here. I did try to see whether or not, that's way too small, whether or not the flowers would fit, but they don't. If you're a bit savvy, you could always put the wire through there. Let's take this off and show you what I mean. Put the wire through there. You could always pop a few seed beads if you don't like the fact that you can see the wire, and thread on a bead for it to sit in the middle and anchor it the other side. Just food for thought. So we've learned quite a bit, haven't we? We have learned how to use some of the wooden connectors. We've learned how to, where's the red one gone? Well, that can't have gone far. How ridiculous. Well, I haven't been anywhere. How silly. There it is. There it is. So we've learned different connectors. One is the metal one. We've you've got the rhinestones, you've got a whipping knot. Don't forget, start with double, then cut off. Invest in a lighter if you haven't got one. We've also learned at knotting as well, which I think this would make a beautiful, beautiful necklace. So let me just come off the overhead a second. So what I'm kind of thinking is, okay, if you, where are we? If you have that as a necklace, I don't think that would hang right like that. But if you have it sort of asymmetrical, so you have it like that in different joins, I think that would be really lovely, and maybe even have the dropper one in the middle. So it's food for thought. So we've got the one with the wooden one and the knots, and we have got the finer bracelet. So experiment, use these methods in whatever you like. You could also use it with earrings if you want to, even rings. You know, I will leave it up to you. So before we go, so I'm glad you like the combination. Lovely hour. Thank you. You're very welcome. Katrina says very pretty. Francie says very pretty. Thank you. So I'm just going to show you, for those of you that are new, this is the group where, to be honest, they never quite make it on to the website because they go so quickly. So that's the Facebook group where you can buy, and it doesn't matter if you're in the UK or if you're worldwide, I post to most places. And this is YouTube. This is my YouTube channel, and I broadcast live on the YouTube channel as well. There's 180 tutorials on there that you can dive into. If you go into home, then you've got videos, and I think you have to go into the live button to view the previous lives. Okay, now you can also buy from my website as well. That was difficult. So yeah, but thank you for joining me. Oh, I was going to show you the Beaders group as well. Beads by Verchiel. Beaders of Beads by Verchiel. That's that one. So that's the other group. That's our social group, and share your makes. And if you've got any questions as well. Anyway, I am going to love you and leave you. Need to make a mala soon. Yeah, this is a lovely technique for a mala as well. And you can still use the whipping knot at the back for your malas as well. So anyway, enjoy your day. Do not forget, please tune in tomorrow at midday at Jewellery Maker. Hope to see you there. Take care. Bye.